So 2024 had a assortment of fantastic films and even greater performances. But now that we move on to 2025, we have a whole slew of movies that are coming out that, we're just chomping at the bit to watch. And I wanted to do a short little video on some of the movies in 2025 that I am excited to watch. Hey guys, Chris Chavez here, and listen, if you have been a subscriber to my channel, you'll notice a little change. So I rebranded my channel here to Nerdistic. I moved from one state to another state, and life got in the way, and I didn't have a chance to actually, post new videos. So now, in 2025, I'm reviving everything, and I'm excited to be back to record just the things that I love to talk about. Now, when it comes to 2024, the last film in that year that I watched was Nosferatu, and it was fantastic. I mean, we could do a whole episode on that, just talking about how beautifully haunting that movie was, but this isn't a Nosferatu episode. Now, the movies I'm going to talk about are in no particular order of excitement. These are the movies that I can't wait to see. So let's get started. What are we waiting for? All right, so the first movie on this list is from a director that we all know and love, and that of Ryan Coogler. Now, if the name Ryan Coogler sounds familiar, it's because he is the director of both Black Panther films. And the movie that we're talking about is called Sinners. So Sinners is set in the 1930s Jim Crow era. So think the South, like the Deep South. Now, this movie is about two twin brothers who return home, but on their return home, they realize that there's something evil waiting for them in their hometown. Oh, and that evil that I'm talking about? Vampires. The fact that Ryan is doing a movie like this, a horror thriller, it really excites me. It's like on the same level of, if Christopher Nolan decided, hey, I'm gonna do a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like two really, really good directors just kind of diving into a genre that you didn't expect them to dive into. Now, Ryan Coogler is teaming up again with Michael B. Jordan for this film. Michael B. Jordan plays the twin brothers, and Hailey Steinfeld is also in this film as well. Now, when I first saw the trailer, it really sucked me in. The time period fits perfect with the story he wants to tell, and how just gritty and grimy the film kind of feels, you know what I mean? I mean, Ryan Coogler does great films. I mean, besides Black Panther, you got Creed, you got Judas and the Black Messiah, and of course, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a mixed review, but I gotta take Rotten Tomatoes with a grain of salt, because sometimes they're a hit, sometimes they're a miss. But this film, it looks fun. But if you haven't seen the trailer, check it out. The film comes out April 18th, 2025. Next film that we have on this list is a really wacky film that reminds me of Groundhog's Day meets The Edge of Tomorrow. We're talking about Mickey 17, starring Robert Pattinson. Now, this film was originally a book, and so they adapted it from that book into what we have now, which is a very quirky idea, and I'm all about it. Now, the film is about an unlikely hero who is sent out to colonize another planet. But after one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with the memories of his former bodies. Now, this film was directed by Bong Joon-ho, who directed one of my favorite films, in that of Snowpiercer, starring Chris Evans. If you haven't seen that movie, check it out. It's fantastic. And the thing that just made me laugh out loud in this trailer is he's so used to dying that at one point he's just like, whatever, just throw me in the kiln, I'll be back in 5 minutes. The absurdity of him being this person that's supposed to colonize this brand new planet, for a brand new life, but the process in doing that is really just odd, and it's kind of like this, whatever, you know what I mean? Robert Pattinson is a very, very good actor. I mean, besides the Twilight films, he's a very versatile actor, and so I love to see an actor who does really good dramatic performances do something really off the wall. But if you're excited to see this film, it comes out March 7th, 2025. So the next film on this list, it just makes me so happy that it's happening. I hope you feel the same way. We're talking about the live action How to Train Your Dragon. Now, another topic of live action films is kind of up in the air. Some people really like it, some people are like, what's the point? I just watched the cartoon and it's great. But there's something special about certain films that you see as an animated film, and now that they're a live action, like the emotion, there's certain emotion that can only be felt through flesh, can actually see it. Now, when I first heard this was happening, I was in the same boat. I was like, really, you're gonna ruin it? But there was a light at the end of the tunnel before a trailer was even released. So the animated film was directed by Dean DuBois, and the live action is directed by the same director. And the cool thing about this film is they got a lot of the voice actors to actually reprise their role in this film, like Gerard Butler, for example. Now, Hiccup, though, is played by Mason Thomas this time, which is fine because, you know, even though the voice is a little different than Jay's in the animated film, he looks just like Hiccup. And speaking of looking like the character, Toothless is flawless, just saying. When I saw the trailer for this one, it reminded me of when I was watching The Last of Us TV show. There are certain shots that you're like, oh my god, I saw that in the game. It's the exact same thing for this film. You're like, Toothless did that. Oh my gosh, he did it here. It's really cool to see those shots replicated in live action. Just watch the trailer if you haven't seen it. But this film is set for a June 13th release in 2025. A summer flick, I love it. Summer, my birthday's in the summer, it's in June, so you know where I'll be around that time. And last but not least on this list, I had to have added a superhero film because superheroes, they're my favorite, but it's not a Marvel film. But the film, however, is directed and written by an ex-Marvel director, and that is James Gunn. You know where I'm going with this. So, Superman, right? It's a big, ambitious film to take on for your very first just full-length feature film to kick off the DC universe. Now, the universe has already started with Creature Commandos, the animated series on HBO Max. But this live-action film, it kind of brings back the hope that DC can you know, revitalize their brand a little bit. Now, when the casting for this began, we all were kind of just in awe that they didn't, you know, say, Henry, you know, the past bosses have done you dirty, and so we're gonna fix this, okay? So come back with us. But in the casting of David Cornsweet, you know, yes, he looks like a smaller version of Henry Cavill, which is kind of funny now to think about it. But he looks like Superman. And from the reports on set, he has a kind of a Christopher Reeve feel to him. I know that's that's saying a lot, but Christopher Reeve is my favorite Superman, and then it's Henry Cavill. Now, right off the bat on this trailer, you see the dark contrast from Zack Snyder's darker, more adult-themed Superman to this vibrant colors, bright, kind of comic book panel feel that James Gunn is going for. And it makes sense that this Superman is going to be a little bit more bright in you know, the color scheme of things, because that's Superman. He's hope, he's bright, he's here to help you. I mean, you saw him save that child, right? And let's not forget the cast that's around him, namely Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult. Now, I know I'm not the only one that didn't like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Essentially, he was like Scarecrow as Lex Luthor. Anyways, that's a whole, yet again, we could do a whole episode on that. But I do have faith in James Gunn. I mean, Guardians was fantastic. I know he's taking this new role as head of DC series, and I hope he delivers. But Superman comes out July 11th, 2025, and I will be in theaters. You want to join me? But that's my list for some of the films of 2025. Listen, there are so many films that I could have listed. I just wanted to do a few just to get, you know, just to get started. What films are you excited about for 2025? Let me know in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. Guys, thank you for hanging out with me. If you had a chance to like and subscribe, please hit that subscribe button, ding ding, the little bell. And I'll see you guys next time. And, you know, go out, watch some good movies, and I will see you in the theaters.